Aloha! You're back. And I'm back too, kids. Except this time I got another kitty. The Coog. The Cougar. Well, I told you I'd do a back to back. Excuse me. I believe it was the thumbnail is going to be meat without hooves. Now, I'm talking about 19, see, numbers, 2008. I thought it was 7, maybe 9, no, but it was 2008 because Mrs. Brown, the one that this last episode that got bit by the Black Widow, and I had that dream about her and castor oil and all that. Well, that's where we're going to start with meat without hooves. We were going to the airport. It was like a few weeks later after the episode. She's all better. I mean, she's really feeling fantastic. After that Black Widow bite, she had castor oil. Coog's a little jumpy. Might have been the spider talk. It's okay. So she going to the airport. Talk about serendipity. It was surreal. Yeah, one of those have to make this conversation true. All right. Another kitty that has to be brushed. Okay, before I go to bed tonight, they're both getting brushed. She's going to the airport, and I asked her this question. I said, Did you ever hear about meat without hooves? She says, yes, I have. I said, You've heard about meat without hooves? She says, I'm going to. And I don't know if it was China or Japan. She was on her way there. And she says, That's what I do now. I give these seminars on meat without hooves. I got the CD and I show it to the congregation or whoever one of those countries. I know Japan and China, they love meat. And what's the matter, boy? So she's doing an expose. I said, Did you know China doesn't even have any birds over there? They eat. She says, Yes, I know. And then I said, Japan, they really like meat. She says, Yes, I know. So I can't remember if it was one of those countries that she was going to, but she's going there doing a seminar. What are the chances of that? For Uncle Martin to say, Hey, have you heard about meat without hooves? Because it was a big thing. It was just, that's what they called it. And I said, You're going to go whatever country that was? I said, So you do understand that what they're saying about meat without hooves, it's going to feed the world, and the PETA people, PETA, not the pita bread. It was PETA people. It's people that it's ethical treatment toward animals. PETA. Yeah, there you go. Not the pita bread. PETA people. And they're going crazy with it too. That's what I remember, and I believe they still are. That this is gonna, well, they're happy about it not being kids. Animals are harvested. They call it harvesting, but they're really getting taken out so you can eat it on the table, whatever it is, whatever meat you're eating has been harvested. So there's a lot of inhumane stuff going on. I don't want to go there; it's too negative. But these people are all gung ho for it. I believe then and even now. The understanding that's methane gas that comes out of the cows is going to cut it down by 96% for the planet, because cows have gas, and it's polluting the air. Some people are saying. So that'll be knocked off. There's something like the water consumption will be cut down by 82 to 96%. Is that my girl over there drinking water? Yeah, 23-year-old dog. So the water, she's drinking water. What a cue she has. That'll be, the consumption will be cut to where we'll have more water because the animals are drinking the water. So we'll have 82 to 96% more water. The farm space, there'll be more farm space. There'll be less animals because we don't have to eat them because we're going to have this meat without hooves. And then the things that I guess I was always wondering what the side effects are of this stuff, and they didn't know then, you know, that well, I guess that's why in 2008 they were just it was kind of, there was some guy named Dr. Jason something, Matheny, 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 doctor. There's a couple of them, those names are around, but this is the doctor one. He definitely did the regenerative medicine. He got all this going, and it's called cultured meat. And what you do, kids, is you get stem cells from the animal, and you're able to grow meat in a petri dish. You can grow meat in a petri dish. It has a heartbeat. Yeah, it has a heartbeat. So we've got to where the FDA now has a ruling that we can now have lab-grown chicken because the FDA says it's safe. Because if you look at the molecules and everything, they're all the same. It's safe. That's what the FDA says. The question I would have is, what is the effect on your health? Also, with all the additives and antibiotics that they put into this meat, what is the side effects on the humans on that? We all know that, you know, a lot of doctors have been feeding a lot of folks antibiotics like gumdrops, and as we all know, kids, antibiotics, I mean, like penicillin and stuff, was only when you're really, really sick, you know. And now they got pills that you're sick for anything and you get an antibiotic. And we know how that works. When you get a real sick, those antibiotics don't work anymore. So how would that be affecting anybody if you're getting a lot of antibiotics in your food? Which I believe they're doing right now, but I don't want to go there. It's too negative. So we got I believe at that time it was probably 85, 95% of the people that I was talking about, to bringing it up to them. They just weren't really, you know, other than her giving that little spiel to people. And this one guy out of Camelback Mountain, when I was driving, I had to ask this multimillionaire guy out of Camelback, I said, hey, you know, you ever hear about meat without hooves? No, I never heard about it. I said, yeah, they can grow steak in a petri dish. It has a heartbeat. Oh, really? It does? Does it die when you put it on the steak? Do you have to kill it first? I said, I don't know about that, but I know that it seems to have a heartbeat. The stem cells, it's got a heartbeat. And I said, yeah. Before I could say any more, he says, well, I'd like to try that. I'd like to try that steak. I said, really? You would like to try that? Wow. And he was the only one, him and her, out of all the people that I talked to. It was really interesting. So then we go to the next level of, I had to Google meat without hooves. I couldn't get anything. And as you know how kids are, when you Google things, you don't always get it. You got to go to the back door. So I had to go and put in meat without hooves. Didn't work. So I said meat grown in a petri dish, and that's where I got that Dr. Jason Matheny immediately, with a voice saying all the stuff that he did, and that it was through the stem cell research that they're able to do this. And what I found out most interesting now, kids, it's just not with meat. It's also with, well, obviously chicken or poultry. That could be more than just chicken. Poultry, beef, pork, seafood. We got all the food groups here that they can grow something, and they are growing them right now as we speak in petri dishes. Well, go figure. Isn't science really amazing? And it's going to feed the world. It's going to feed the world because there's starving people all over, and it's going to be so much less inhumane to the animals. Well, maybe if we just took the animals out and harvested them a little gentler, that might be an idea. All right. Also, well, I don't even really eat that much meat anymore, but it's the point of even when I knew about it, I'll have something on meat for you. I knew at 18 the uric acid and the buildup and all that stuff in the body and how much your body you can take with uric acid and all that stuff. I didn't stop me from eating meat, you know. I mean, up to a few years, more than a few years now, I've gotten rid of it. We got Dad off the meats also when he had his situation. So when I was Googling this Petri dish stuff, I came across where now the FDA, in the beginning, said it wasn't going to be, and then all of a sudden now I believe the FDA says it's okay to have the meat on the market. So when I kept scrolling down, as you scroll down, you get more information, kids. And what I got was that there's a fella, he's a prime minister, Italy. Now, I don't know if he's Sicilian or not, but he's definitely an Italian because he's the minister of Italy. And of all the days, March 29th, that means just a little, because March, April, May, about a month and a half ago now, he has now come forward and said Italy will not have any lab-grown food here. I don't know. Why would he say that? Does he know something Uncle Martin doesn't know? It seemed logical you'd want to find out how it would work on people before you start feeding people that. You know how the GMOs worked. You know, in episode 39, when I went into that, all the stuff on GMO. 39 is colors. That's all it is colors. And then after that, I subliminal. I just did a little bit because, And then after that, I went into the GMO. I wasn't going to do all that, but I had to. The GMOs, organic. Go organic. But you're going to do what you're going to do. Just like this meat grown stuff. See, this guy was called Prime Minister Francisco, it was a famous name, Lola Brigida. I wonder if there's any relation. Lola Brigida was a well-known female actress. Well, his first name is Francisco. And he said there's not going to be any of this stuff going on in his part of town, anywhere in Italy. Go Italy! Usually go India. But this time it's go Italy. It's not just because I'm half Italian either. It seems logical that you would want to find out what the outcome of this stuff. What are the health benefits? What's it going to do to the body with all this stuff that they're putting in it? Which brings me to that little sitcom. It was about 2008 or 9. This guy that had a roast. It was a funny little, everybody thought it was funny. This guy had a roast. He loved his roast. It had a heartbeat to it. And he was hugging his roast. And I think he had some blueberries or something. He had blueberries all over his face. He looked kind of a funny guy with blueberries all over his face. Yeah, and then he's hugging he didn't want to eat them. I don't know I don't think he cooked it yet. He had maybe a thermometer in it, and it had a heartbeat going, and he was hugging it, and he loved it. He loved his meat. He just loved it. Everybody's laughing. They're laughing at this. This is when the Meat Without Hooves was going around, where you could talk about it. Now it's a different name. They just changed the name. Same thing. It's in a Petri dish. But this was a big roast. This was on a sitcom. Everybody's like, so, I don't know. How does that work, you know? I mean, this is a crazy world, kids. This is about as crazy as it gets. It's getting even crazier. There's people with no common sense. There's people there with no common sense. There's people with no discernment. And kids, I told you in the past, it's going to happen that way. There's going to be a lot of people like that. So that's where you kids are going to be coming in to this understanding someday, if not already, that people look a little loony, you know, and not to judge them, they just have more things to learn. But you got to be on your guard now, kids, really on all kinds of different levels, especially stuff they're teaching in school So just beware on, don't believe it until you are able to apply it. Okay, I've said that in the past. So we got all these things going on with craziness, crazy, crazy, crazy. There was a little while back. There was some guy. Again, I don't know if it was China or Japan. This guy, he was in love with his pillow. He loved his pillow, and his pillow. So he, know what he did? He loved it so much. He married. He married his pillow. This guy married his pillow. Now, some people would say that's rather unusual, but apparently the pastor, I'm sure it wasn't a priest. I gotta say, I would hope not. But whoever the guy was, the marriage license for this guy to have a marriage, the guy must have some money wanting to marry his pillow. Is that the pillow get all the money? Um, Geez, cosmic humor here. So I was gonna say, some people say to me, hey, I'm talking to you, and it's like I'm talking to the wall. Yeah, but I love my wall. I just love my wall. In fact, I was partial to the south wall, but now I think I love the north wall. The north wall has a mural of me on it, and you know what? I love the north wall better than. I'm gonna marry my north wall. I'm marrying my wall. Would somebody marry my wall with me? I'm sure someone would come forward and say, "Yeah, you want to marry your wall? How much money you got?" It always comes down to that, kids. If people are wanting to do something, there's going to be somebody who's going to help them out on that. Doesn't make it really positive. Um, I don't even know if it's negative. It's just kind of like common sense. And it's common sense and discernment, kids. You're going to find in this planet Terra terrific or terrible. Uncle Martin's thinking that's mighty terrible if you got to go marry a pillow, if you got to marry a wall. God only knows what else is good. Whatever inanimate object, if you can marry a pillow, I can imagine you can marry anything, at this point. So I'm just saying, kids, it's gonna get even crazier out there. But have no fear, have no worry. You've got your angels and protection around you. Remember about the white light, that meditation one that I gave back in the days. Always have your white light and protection around you. Ask your guardian angel to always be with you and around you. Archangel Michael, you want him around you. And things will always be a lot better for you than not having these things around. Some people that just, you really wonder where they're coming from. Is it really possible people really think this way? Yes, they do, kids. That's why you can't judge anybody that's off on one limb or the other. They just have more things to learn. And by hurting their feelings, that's not going to make it. I'm not saying go along with it. I'm just saying don't start pointing your finger at them because they're thinking in a loony way to you, which is probably quite correct there. But you always want to talk in a soft voice. Don't start screaming back at these people. These people that are screaming at you, first of all, don't have mastery over their subconscious, which we spoke about before. That's that little child, that little beast that we have to have control over, or not. And by having that control, you're not going to be flipping out. That's all. These people that are just emotionally not balanced, they just have more things to learn, more things to work out. But by pointing fingers at them is very hurtful. And as I said before, you don't hurt people's feelings to the best of your ability. And if you do, you say you're sorry. That's all. So that's what I wanted to say about the thumbnail. Meat without hooves. And how keep your eyes open for this stuff, kids. For all we know, we may already be getting the chicken already because the FDA said it. There's nothing wrong with it. So I would hope somebody could put signs up saying this is been cultivated, cultured. This is cultured meat. Have a law. Any lawmakers out there? Have a law that says this is cultured meat, which would mean it grew in a petri dish. This chicken breast, or the chicken, or the pork chop, or the steak, or the shrimp, the seafood, any kind of fish you think of, can now be grown in a petri dish, is all Uncle Martin's saying. And apparently it's going enough to where somebody from Italy was thinking ahead of the game on March 28th this year, about a month and a half ago, saying it ain't going to happen here in Italy. Okay. So this is a short one, kids. Just wanted to get that out there, this information, because I felt this would be very important and very vital for everybody. So until I see you again, probably next Sunday or even in between, I might be able to get another one in here. I want you all to be well. Do your push-ups, chin-ups. Listen to your parents and guardians. Study hard. Say your prayers before you go to bed. And ask Archangel Michael to protect you all night and all day. So until I see you again, aloha and be well.